Good morning everyone, Cappy here, 410 Expedition. So today's a great day. I'm here in my buddy's shop, Chris, at Veteran Welding. Today we're going to install the Burmis Outdoor tent, the Kootenay Guides, on the EH2. The weather has been so crappy here in Alberta, we're not getting a break here. So Chris said, come on into my shop, let's install this thing today so we can do the unboxing, review, and get it mounted. So let's get started. So one of the features you see here on the Burmis Outdoor tent is it's got the checker plating bottom, which is stronger than the other manufacturers. They use like a regular camper trailer style white bottom, boom bottom. So this is much stronger. And you can see that there's some tape here, and that's where your pre-drilled tapped holes are to mount your bars. Depending on the configuration that you're going to be doing on your trailer or on your rig. Are you opening it to the back? Are you opening it to the side? So that will determine the orientation of your mounting rails. So pre-planning is crucial before you go ahead and do this. So think about it for a second. How do you want your tent to open and install your bars? Now on every rooftop tent purchase, everything is tucked inside. So when you open up the box, don't freak out. It doesn't mean you're missing your ladder and your hardware. It's all tucked inside. So before you open everything up, just do a visual inspection. It's a good time to make sure that all your nuts and bolts are fastened tight. If you see any defects, now is your opportunity to send it back to the manufacturer. But this is a Burmis Outdoor product. It's gonna be awesome. Fingers. And then I'll just rest on holding an umbrella. So as you can see here, this is the new color, which is inspired by the classic Land Rover Defender green. So this is what their inspiration of this color was. Kind of like it. It kind of pops out. It's really nice. Now, one of the cool features about this new tent is that in the Rainfly, we have the actual window so that you can open and actually see the stars at night. Other manufacturers, you have to remove the Rainfly in order to open the sunroof. But in this case here, we've already got the plastic windows for you to view at night. Hardware bag right here. Got your nice telescopic ladder here. A couple of nice side bags here that I'll show you a bit later. Here's one of your rails right here. Cover bag. Your poles. And your second rail. Okay, so let's go through what you get with your tent here, all of the hardware. What's neat about Burmis is that they've actually pre-labeled all their bags for you. The manufacturers, they just throw everything in the bag and you're kind of sorting through the kit. So we got your rail hardware here. We have your ladder hardware. We have your rack hardware. Now, something that Burmis has invested extra time and money on, and that's creating or making these really neat mount systems. These are 3/16 stainless steel. They're pre-bent and they're rubber coated. I love these because as I'm tightening down to my bar or your roof rack, whatever you have, that plate won't bend. This is a very strong, heavy-duty bracket system. And I love this extra little coating that they did on here, so it won't scratch the paint on your rail. It won't slide on you if it's loosened somehow. It just does a better bite. It's better quality. Good job, Burmis. And they always supply the tool, so it's always handy when you get your 13 mil, 15 mil, 10 mil, whatever mil. It's good to always have those kits in there. We got here the extra beefy tent pegs. These are nice. These won't bend on you. They're gonna break through rock when you're pounding these in. So good job on the pegs. And then you have some really nice, bright, colorful ropes to tie down your canopy down. I don't like the colors that are dark because at nighttime you trip over them, so I like what they've done here, made them white, and so you can see them better. Good job. Okay, so now we're ready to put on the rails. So in my instance with my EH2, I want it to open on one of the sides. So I'm going to apply them so that the full width of the tent here. If your bar configuration or your roof rack was different, then you would put them in this configuration. So you have your rack on your Jeep or on your rig, your Toyota, whatever you're using, you make it this way. Now, you have to make a decision. Do you want to keep, because you will overhang about 3 inches on each side. You can keep that overhang to hang extra accessories or mounts if you want to with some L brackets, or you can decide to cut. You take the plastic caps off on the end, you can cut, sand off all the burrs, put the caps back on, that way you don't have anything overhanging. Something you have to think about and kind of pre-plan before you do that. But in my case, I'm losing the full length of the mounting rails, and it's simple as just removing these plastic tabs. We're going to get the mounting hardware, and I'll show you what you do. It's very simple. You got to get in between the mattress and the floor, and as a piece you have to slide in to keep everything strong. So let's show you how that's done. Yeah. So now what we're going to do is we're going to slide the 2 lock nuts inside the rail, because your bolt's going to come in from inside the floor, coming out, and then we're going to attach and then have to tighten things down. All we have to do is come in from in between the floor mattress here, and then just push it through. So simple enough.
Oh, shut off.
No, just a screen hit. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to loosely put these in. You'll see that over here there's a hole that's inside. And you're just going to have to make sure that that nut lines up with that hole. And give it a couple of turns, and that's it, and then we move on to the next one. And that's it. Okay, so now what I've done here is I slid the brackets. I'll show you what the brackets look like. So we have here these nice little slide brackets, and what you do is you put your bolt inside the bracket and then it slides in. So now this is going to be fully adjustable right here like this, and what I'm doing is we're going to be dropping this into the holes of the H2, which are pre-done, which is right here, and then from underneath bolt this sucker down. That's it. Super simple. I'm doing a different installation because we're using the trailer. If it was on a rack system, then you would have to use all 8 mounting bolts in order to use this really cool, like I mentioned before, when you have this tied down like this into your bolt, this is what you would have upside down on your rack system. So that's why I'm loving these. Eventually, the Burmis tent is going to be put on the Jeep once I get this new custom rack system that we're working with Chris over here from Veteran Welding. We're working on a very unique system for the Jeep Wrangler Jeeps, and I said that twice, Jeep Wrangler Jeeps. Yeah, you know what I meant. For the Wrangler, it's gonna be pretty cool. We've got some drawings that we're working on right now, but the intent is to eventually have this guy on the Jeep, and that way I can have the Jeep, or sorry, have the tent on the Jeep year round. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna install the ladder on the tent. Now, I find it easier to install this before it's installed on your rig because of the height, and it's inconvenient, you're on a ladder. So we're taking an opportunity here to put this on the forklift, and we're going to mount these brackets in order to mount the telescopic ladder. Always make sure you point the arrow in towards the tent, not like this. That's a no-no, big X. You want the arrow to point towards. Simple enough. You're gonna have 3 sets of bolts. Obviously the long ones are gonna go from the rooftop tent. The little one is to connect your ladder into the side here. And there's a fiber washer here that it keeps it from moving around. So let's get these installed. Take off my gas. Now, one of the things you're going to want to do is you want to just loosely put this on first before you put your ladder on. What we're going to do is we're going to put these in just so there's movement a little bit, because when you go to put your your ladder on, you might need a little bit of play just to get that fine-tune adjustment. Because it'll never fit inside or outside. It's going to be off to the one side here. So you just got to find which side you want it on. Doesn't really matter. Always put the rubber washer in between the ladder and the bracket. We'll actually use the washer. Oop. There, now we're ready to tighten down. And don't forget to tighten down your brackets down to your rooftop tent.
real time you threw a wrench at me? It's gonna happen in about 10 seconds.
So when you take the cover out of the tent, you will see that your zipper attachment is actually still attached to the cover. So you're gonna have to remove your zipper portion and you're gonna have to put it onto your tent. But the first thing you wanna do though is put the cover on so you know what side your zipper starts on, right? So we'll do that first. We'll put the cover on, make sure we match up where the zipper starts and where it stops, and then we're done. So we put the cover on, it just slides inside this track. One thing I noticed right away on the Burmis cover is they put some extra material here to protect from the ladder and the rubbing in the corners so that you won't get rubbing and tears or holes in your waterproof cover. So extra added bonus on that. Also, your corners here on your cover have been reinforced so that when the corners here line up in your cover, you won't get tears or holes in the corners too. I've noticed in some other manufacturers that's the #1 place that the cover will tear is in your corners here. So extra quality work done on here. So there you have it. The Burmis Outdoor Kootenay Guides rooftop tent is installed on the H2. The next, part 2 that I'm going to do next is the actual field test. Take it out, sleep in it, do a more in-depth walk-around review of the tent. Today was just to install the tent on the H2, show you what the benefits are, what they've done differently. Super simple. If you've installed the tent before, you kind of know what to do. If you haven't, follow the instructions. They're a great set of instructions, and that's it. If you like what we do here at 410 Expedition, please subscribe to our channel, hit that like button, and we'll see you on the next one.
Hey, Mom!